rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So do I. My speech will be in English, so I don't know if there's going to be translations services, but I'm assuming that everybody will understand me. Yeah? Huh? Okay. So, Your Excellency, President of Puntland, Saeed Abdullahi Deni, Your Excellency, Minister of Education, Abdullahi Mohammed Hassan, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Abdelghafar Elmi Hage, and the members of the Cabinet. I would also like to welcome the partners, UN agencies, UNICEF and WFP, and all other civil society partners that are present here today, as well as the Education and Emergency Working Group, and thank you, Asif, for leading that. I'd also like to welcome the Country Director for Save the Children, Mohammed Hassan, colleagues and friends, and also the little children that gave us some inspiring messages for education, and I think we need to listen to them in that they said, make sure that you all send your children to school. School education is what opens opportunity for everybody, and that's what Education Cannot Wait is all about. So on behalf of ECW and ECW's director, Ms. Yasmin Sharifa, I'm honored to be among you today to work to mark the launch of Education Cannot Wait facilitated multi-year program of the Puntland state of Somalia. It's great to see commitment of the government at the highest level today here by the presence of the President of Puntland. This means that education takes is priority for Puntland, and we are happy to see that. This comprehensive multi-year education response with an overall budget of 60 million was developed by the government with the leadership of the Ministry of Education, together with the humanitarian and development partners from civil society and the UN agencies, as well as donors, who accompanied the process. As Mohammed Ali Farah said, it was a long process, but we are happy to know that the process was inclusive and transparent and included a long consultative process. The program will benefit catalytic seed funding from Education Cannot Wait in the amount of 5.6 million to address the needs of 40,000 children and of Somali children and youth per year. The multi-year program is expected to jumpstart global efforts to mobilize additional funds in the amount of 54.4 million to address the needs, the overall needs of the identified approximately 400,000 for the whole of the education and emergency response. The program is expected to support the deployment of the new ways of working. Now, the new ways of working is the modality of the multi-year program, and this has a focus on collective outcomes. In other words, we always work together to achieve common outcomes, as well as ensuring the multi-year dimension of the program. In other words, the program is a program that will span over 3 years, and it is not a humanitarian program that provides funding for education for 6 months or 1 year and then stops, but we want to create a predictability to make sure that children's education is not disrupted but is continued and then transitioned into the formal schooling system that the government then takes responsibility for. The program will improve access to inclusive quality education for Somali children and youth affected by conflict and drought through the rehabilitation of schools which will provide adequate, safe learning spaces, supply teacher and learning materials, improve girls' enrollment and retention, and by providing alternative basic education, will transition more children into the formal schooling system. The program will also address system strengthening in terms of emergency preparedness and response, coordination and monitoring, as well as data collection and analysis, which will ensure EMIS is populated with education in emergency data to better inform education programs. In other words, we need to see more data going into the EMIS system that reflects what is happening to children that have been displaced from their places of origin as a result of drought and conflict. The program will target IDPs, pastoralists and rural populations, as well as returnees and host communities. These are the most vulnerable children and the furthest left behind. We are clear that all school-age children must enjoy the right to education. Education is not a favor that we are giving children. Education is the children's right. They have a right to education, and as duty bearers, we have a right to provide education to the children. And therefore, that's why ECW is committed to education. The multi-year program supports existing national plans and strategies, and it draws clear linkages with the education sector strategy for Puntland and the humanitarian response plan, as well as the gender policy of the Ministry of Education. The multi-year program implements the Grand Bargain and the localization concept, which is all about providing and building the capacity of local actors to provide education services. The multi-year program builds on Education Cannot Wait's first emergency response in 2017 in the amount of US dollars 4.9 million, which supported partners to immediately respond to the severe drought, and I will not go into the details of that because Asir mentioned what that program was about. ECW believes that education is an enabler of all SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Education is key to peace and security, and it is key to increased economic growth, and education is key to the development trajectory of peoples, countries and regions. So this ambitious program will require coordinated efforts to mobilize additional resources for the program, as it will be the building block in furthering inclusive and quality education to youth and to children and youth impacted by violence, conflict and drought. So I would also like to stress the importance that this program provides to girls' education in Puntland as an effective means to empower girls to take an active role in driving the future development of Puntland and beyond. Again, a special thanks to the government and all partners which have been key to the development of the multi-year program, as this is a product and a co-creation that has involved all of you as stakeholders. Your engagement in this program will define the shape of a better Somalia and Puntland as the state of Somalia, and always pushing forward the interests of the children and the youth. So let's work all together in accomplishing the mission and of bringing children to school. So as Muhammad Ali Farah said, we said here, education cannot wait means but he said it's so maybe that is a good also alternative. Yeah? So with that, waad mahadsantihiin. Assalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu.